Welcome back to Optical Awesomeness. Today we're going to be talking about frame markup. We're going to have a conversation about how do you actually price your eyewear and your optical. It's a pretty tough thing. Some people subscribe to an easy 3 times markup, while other people are a little more clever, decide what the value is and what the value is to the patient. When you're talking about frame markups, I'm talking about how much are you supposed to multiply your wholesale costs to arrive at your retail cost. You shouldn't take this subject matter lightly because this is how you make profit in your optical business. It's really easy to lose money in optical. It's hard to make money. When you're talking about profits in optical, they can be pretty large if you know how to mark things up appropriately and fairly. Traditional markups on retail goods are generally 2 times or less. We're so fortunate in optical that we can have large markups and we don't have to sell tons and tons of volume to have good careers and good livelihoods. So markups is not just about what multiplier you assign to your wholesale cost, it's also about how did you purchase those goods? There's different ways of purchasing goods. There's different price lists. There's different optical shows that you can do. You can work with your frame reps directly. So you need to first learn how to purchase eyewear. I know most opticals have a really standardized, easy markup they do on frames. It might be anywhere from 2.5 times to 3 times markup on their wholesale cost. Don't do that. Wake up, get your blinders off, and start thinking, how can I maximize profits in my optical by assigning the right markup, by looking at the value of each individual piece of eyewear and what your patients are willing to pay for it. There's a reason why people go to these nice fancy restaurants and will pay $50 for a great cut of steak. You could have bought that steak at the grocery store for about $10. However, the restaurant provides extra added value, and that's the experience you're receiving, the candles, the ambiance, the smells, the socialization. That's why you can assign bigger markups to different retail goods based on value. We have exclusivity in optical. What that means is goods are not always available everywhere. You need to be looking at what you have in your optical and if it can be found anywhere else in town. And that's one way you can reason to charge more for a product. When you're selling really quality optical goods, luxury eyewear, titanium frames, frames with really good acetates, awesome hinges, you need to realize that you're selling quality eyewear and these optical goods are going to hold up for a very long time, maybe 3 to 10 years. You're not going to get an optical sale every year. So you need to assign appropriate price to your eyewear to maximize your profits. When you're deciding on your markup of eyewear, you need to look at all sorts of factors. Some of the factors might be what country was it made in, what type of metal, what type of acetate, who's designing the frame, how long, how many man hours went into making that pair of eyewears. Look at the artistry on it, look at the hinge, look at the luster. There's so many awesome factors that you need to take into account when you're marking up your eyewear. Now let's talk examples here, because real life examples matter. I was recently at Vision Expo East last year, and I was buying some just really inexpensive frames for just people that say, I just want a pair of glasses. And I feel them. They need glasses too. Maybe they're contact lens wearers, or maybe they're just people who are on a lower end budget. But I still wanted to deliver these people really high quality eyewear. I think everyone deserves to have the best in the money category they can afford. So here's what I did. I scoured the whole Vision Expo optical floor and I wanted to find the best glasses at a very reasonable, cheap price where I can still make a hefty margin on them. I found this really great Canadian vendor of eyewear and they were selling these frames in bulk. I had to purchase 300 frames to obtain this really great price on the glasses. That might sound like a ton of glasses and oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna get rid of these? Well, guess what? You only paid about $5 per frame, so you don't really need to worry about selling all of them. The frames combined with the lens markup, you'll have that invoice paid off in no time. So if you're buying frames for $5, how would you mark that up? If you were going with the standard 3 times markup, would you give a $5 wholesale frame $15? I would hope not. What you buy things at has no correlation to what the patient buys it from you. Okay, so if a $5 frame is not going to be sold at $15, then what should it be sold at? Well, you need to look at your audience, your population, and the people coming into your practice to really decide on a fair price that you think is reasonable. That $5 frame that you bought might be a 20 times markup, a 30 times markup, 40 times markup, or whatever you think. Just go through it in a logistical manner and you'll feel good about your decision. Also, you can always change your mind on pricing later on. Try one price, if it doesn't sell at that, raise or lower it. It's no big deal. Make changes. We all need changes in life. I know a lot of opticians love passing the savings on to patient because they feel like they're doing them a favor. Well, guess what? You're not. If you're a business owner, you understand giving dollars away. If you're an optician, realize that when you give dollars away, that could have went back into your pocket. Let's talk about really good quality eyewear. Even on high quality eyewear, you can really fluctuate with your markups. So you can do a 3 times markup, you can do a 4 times markup, you could do a 3.75 times markup. Don't worry about the decimal point, choose what you are comfortable with and experiment. Experiment. You can never go wrong with moving prices around. It's good to have higher markups on things because shipping costs kill us. If you add up all your shipping costs over the year, especially for one-off frame purchases, maybe you're choosing a different color, those starting to eat into your profits easily. If you're an optical manager and you're worried about assigning different frame markups, talk to your boss. Say, hey boss, I'm thinking about experimenting with different frame markups that go beyond the 2.5 or 3 times markup model. What do you think about that? Make a good case. Show them I'm thinking critically about how this optical is going to perform in the future and today, and I want to bring it to next level status. Woo woo! Remember, we always sign big markups on products because we always can discount them lower later on. If you start high, you can always go low, but you can never go low and work the way up. It just doesn't work like that. I want to talk about Closeout eyewear. A lot of you don't know it, but you can call up a manufacturer and buy discontinued product from them, or you could even buy it from your frame representative. They always have it, you just have to ask. This product comes at a significant savings. You might save 50% off on these glasses. Now, there's nothing wrong with the eyewear, it just hasn't sold in their factory and they need to move it out to your factory. So you're gonna get it at a really great price, hopefully 50% off or more. Now it's up to you what you want to do with that savings. You can either pass it on to your patients and give them a crazy good deal, or you can put that profit in your pocket. I recommend you assign a normal markup on Closeout product when you can. It's a time for you to have a competitive advantage and make a little extra cash. That way you can reinvest the capital in extra equipment, maybe a new interior or a new staff member if you're running short on labor in your optical. There's so many ways that you can obtain optical profitability, and one of them is experimenting with markups that go beyond the 3 times markup model. Right now, or even tomorrow, I need that you go into your optical and look at the profitability strategy you have. If you could mark up your eyewear $10 extra per frame, I mean, that would be the bare minimum. Think about how many extra thousands of dollars you can make per year. I'll give you a simple example here. Let's say you sell 1,000 pair of glasses a year. That's a pretty good amount, I'd say. And you charge an extra $10 per frame. That means you go to your frame boards, you go to your shelves, you mark everything up $10. That means you would make an extra $10,000 more that year. That's a nice little chunk of change there. All right, great. Now let's imagine that you marked all your frames up $20 or even $50 on some product because you got a really, really good deal on it, or you just have pure, utter confidence in selling it. Now we're talking some serious chunks of change, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more in your pocket. Okay, you get it, right? 3 times markup is a no-no. We want to say yes to markups, raise them up. You can always bring your prices down if they're not working. Experiment, experiment, experiment. Thank you for watching Optical Awesomeness. This was a segment on optical profitability and markups. Feel free to give me a comment below. If you love it, tell me what you're doing, what's your strategy, and thank you for watching.